Okay, very warm welcome to everyone to Meaningful Monday. And
Thank
here we
you.
are. Can you believe it? We passed the first half of the year into the beginning of August. It seems just like the other day the year began. So just welcome to everyone, especially I'm going to put everyone on mute. You're welcome to unmute yourself at any time and ask a question. You're welcome to put a question into the chat box or a comment. It's just better just to mute it as we go along. Purely because it might be a bit of a background noise for some people. All right, just for the people who are new, I hear someone else, just a second. Just for the people who are new, what Meaningful Monday is, it's just a free webinar on the beginning of the first Monday of every month. And the purpose of it is just to really raise awareness, to help people be more empowered, to really live your best life. That's the true and honest reason. And just to create a community where we can kind of regroup on a regular basis and just have a little bit of a positive input into your lives. And you can ask questions at any time. And these are all recorded. So if you don't want to be on the recording, you can choose to put your cameras off. But otherwise, they're recorded because many people in different time zones can't join. And also, it's very helpful to have them sitting on a platform like YouTube. So I've got a YouTube channel where all of them are there, and some people go back to a Meaningful Monday from a year ago or 2 or even 3 years ago and find the topics helpful. So that's enough from that. Otherwise, for tonight, I'm going to talk about the attitudes of people who prosper. And when I talk about people who prosper, I'm specifically talking about it in monetary terms and also in relationships, but specifically to do with money. Now, the interesting thing is, for many of you, I'm going to say it up front, this is not necessarily going to be new to anyone. You might say, oh, yes, I know this already. It's just always good to have a reminder, because they say the biggest gap in the world is that between that we know and that we actually do. So just having a couple of points to remind a person what really keeps them in alignment with the source of all supply and having things flow to you is really what we are going to be talking about tonight. All right, so let's just get into the presentation. Okay, so my question, what comes to mind when you think of developing a positive attitude that leads to prosperity? So think about that for yourself. What actually does come to mind? If anybody wants to answer, please feel free. Just going to let somebody else in the room. What do you think comes to mind when you're developing an attitude of prosperity? So I'll unmute you all. Feel free just to answer me. What do you think it involves? A mindset of prosperity or an attitude that leads to prosperity? Any guesses?
Positive visualization of the future.
Wow. Okay. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I'm actually talking about 7 points tonight, and you're spot on. That's actually one of them. But the words that I like most about what you said is not just positive visualization. You said for the future, because it's one thing just having positive visualization for today and where I am today. But when you say for the future, it's even more powerful, because whatever you put into your mind as a future vision, you actually move towards, and you're going to create that in your life. So absolutely, Dolly, and thank you for that, because many people use their imagination by default and end up worrying, using the imagination to worry instead of using the imagination to visualize and create different images of a better and more prosperous you. So thank you. Any other ideas? Anyone? Don't be shy. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, I'll carry on then.
Set higher goals, I guess, for the future.
Dolly's got 2 already. Yes, that's one of the other points. Set higher goals. And that's absolutely right. And the word higher means higher than what? Higher than what you know you can achieve. Because if we only go for what we know we can achieve, it's going to be very, very limited. Because if you really know for sure you can achieve it, you've probably done it or or almost that already, which is not really different to where you are. But if you really want to prosper and get better, you do need to go higher. That's why people say dream big. So thank you, Dolly. You the golden student tonight. You get the gold star. Any other opinions about what attitude leads to prosperity?
I think being able to make a plan and then having the self-confidence to take the first step.
Absolutely. So to have a plan. Now, that's Anna. Absolutely right. Because once you have to sit down and work out a plan, it means you really got to think. If you're going to, what Dolly said, much higher and much bigger, you've never done that before, because if you had, you would have had it already. So you want this bigger goal. And now Anna's saying, put a plan. Well, you've got to say, well, how do I put this plan together? It really gets you to think. And when you get into writing that plan, the subconscious mind believes that you're serious about achieving this. So the minute you write a plan out, it's almost the first manifestation of your plan. It's the first concrete version of your plan. That's why every personal development teacher on the planet says, write out your goals. Write out your goals. You go, oh yeah, write out our goals. We all write out our goals. But it really is important to write out our goals, because as Anna is saying, you write the plan, and then you said you got to have the confidence, that you say, the confidence to go after it.
Yes,
that what you
that's
said?
what I said. Yes.
Yeah.
The self-confidence to take that first step towards it.
Right. And even better, she said, to take that first step. Because many people think, I don't actually know how I'm going to do this. And they can't know the whole bridge from here to where they want to be. So they wait. They wait until they've worked it out, or they just pause, or whatever it is, or keep thinking about it. But Anna said the confidence to take the first step. And that's so true. All you need to do is take just the very, very first step. And as you take the first step, you'll already get an experience from that and some feedback from that. It will kind of guide you for the next step. So I always use the analogy, it's like driving in your car at night from, let's say, Sydney to Canberra. You can't see the whole route with your lights. You can only see the first 200 meters, and you just go the first 200, and as you get there, you can see the next 200 meters, and as you get there, you see the next 100 meters. And that's exactly what Anna's saying, is that take that first step, and as you take that first step, you will immediately realize what you need to do next, and that's the next step. So just take one step continuously towards your goal. So yeah, that's absolutely great. Anybody else want to offer an attitude that leads to prosperity?
Be persistent.
Yes, be persistent. You can see some of these people have done Think and Grow Rich as a mastermind. You're so right. Persistence is an entire chapter in the book Think and Grow Rich. I'm just referring to that now because it's fresh in my mind. We've just done a mastermind, and I'm finishing off another one. Persistence is truly the make or break between successful and unsuccessful people. It's not actually in this presentation tonight, but thank you, Eva, for raising it, because persistence is so important that people who lack persistence, that is the major cause of all people's failure. They give up. Because the truth is, if you are persistent, you will get your goal. You'll just try it another way and another way and another way, but you will continuously move towards it. And I'm not saying do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, because that's the definition of insanity. We're saying, try this, and if it doesn't work, try another plan. And if that doesn't work, try another plan. As Anna was talking about a plan, Eva was talking about persistence. Absolutely right. Anyone else want to share?
Practice.
Practice, yes. Practice is, yeah.
Yeah, practice, because I came to know through some books, they say use 6P. 6P, now just I remember 6P: perseverance, patience, persistence, practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely. And practice means that you're working on your craft. You're working on that thing that you're doing, that is the idea that you have in your mind about how you're going to get more prosperity. So whatever it is, whatever field you're in, to continuously improve yourself, to continuously grow and have what's called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is different to just practicing. And I'll give you an example. If you take a bucket of golf balls to the driving range and you just put one after the other and just hit them and hit them and hit them, that can be practice, practice, practice. But when you put a golf ball down and you think about which flag you're going for, and you in your mind know how far you want it to land, and then you hit the shot, and you then reflected on how good or bad you were relative to what you wanted to achieve, that's called deliberate practice. Then you take the second ball and hope to be better than the shot before. And there's a difference when you're doing that, because your mind is highly intentional and is continuously reflecting on what you've just done to see that you actually have improvement. So it says here, an attitude that attracts prosperity is something that goes deeper and has an effect beyond surface cheer. So many people think, just be positive, have a positive mindset and everything will land in your lap. It is good to be positive, but it's more than just putting a smile on your face and trying to think positive thoughts. There are some common attitudes. So what we're going to talk about tonight are the specific attitudes when it comes to prosperity. A lot of this information I'm sharing tonight comes from Bob Proctor, and I've read several of his books, and I do love watching him on video on YouTube as well. I think he's a really great teacher, and I think he's a phenomenal speaker. I like this first one. He says, you are the only problem you will ever have, and you are the only solution. That is probably the most important thing you could ever hear, because people often think that problems are outside of themselves, and if the situation changed, everything would change for them. But generally, situations don't change, and they stay unchanged, because the only thing left to change is what? Is you. And we need to change ourselves, and that's how we change our results. It's not pushing against situations and being angry and frustrated that situations don't change. It's taking 100% responsibility for ourselves and changing ourselves. That's why personal development is so important and the key to prosperity, because personal development means you are developing yourself personally. You're not going out to try and change the world. I mean, change the things outside of you, and I say change the world. And then Bob Proctor says, see yourself living in abundance and you will attract it. It works every time with every person, because the law of attraction is what he's talking about. And the law of attraction is a law. It means it works every time with any person, whether you're good or bad, young or old, educated or not, whatever culture, doesn't matter. It applies. And seeing yourself living with abundance is what Dolly was saying. If you can't imagine yourself more prosperous in the future, there's no way you can create that unless you are able to imagine it first. You can't imagine, if you can't imagine yourself healthier, you can't get healthier. If you can't imagine yourself in better relationships, you can't create them. If you can't imagine yourself in less pain, you can't create that. You have to use your imagination with visualization and emotion to create that. So what he's saying, see yourself living in abundance, is what's necessary. So very true. Here are 7 common attitudes that lead to a way of life that makes it natural to prosper financially and, of course, in every area of your life. Now, just in case anyone has a kind of uncomfortable feeling or resistance about prosperity, financial prosperity, being rich, being wealthy, whatever term you want, some people just at a subconscious level, something's uncomfortable, doesn't sit well. We were talking about this just recently I think that it was one of the Think and Grow Rich masterminds, where someone said, if I just say I want to be rich, it feels like there's something wrong with it, as if it's not noble or it's not the right thing. And then as the group was talking, said, well, someone else says, I don't have any problem with that. I love to say, I love money and I'd love to be wealthy. And what's the difference? The difference is really our conditioning. And I just wanted to put this quote here, just to let a person be reminded that if you've got a resistance to financial prosperity, wealth, riches, or any word like that, love, money, anything along those lines, it comes from some conditioning somewhere. And often religions also kind of create this impression that there's some nobility in being poor or there's nobility in poverty. Where here's a quote out the Bible, not that it's whether you're Christian or not is not the point. It's just here's a book of faith saying, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, plans to prosper you." Why? Because this is an abundant universe. This is an abundant planet. A source energy, I'm a person of faith, I call it God, could be universal energy, is an abundant, infinite energy. And if you look to nature, everything is in abundance. From the water in the ocean, you couldn't take enough buckets out the ocean and say, oh, we're running out. How many blades of grass? You couldn't count a square meter of them. As you count the last blade, another one's grown behind you. You know, plants, leaves, air, the sun. There's an abundance in nature. Everything gets fed. If you look at the world and whatever's going on, everything is in harmony. Of course, some things have, you know, seasons that some are not as full as others. But generally speaking, this is a universe of abundance. So plans to prosper us and not to harm us, plans to give us hope in the future, would make sense coming from an abundant source, an abundant one source that provides everything. So just the point I'm making is, if there is any resistance when you think or talk in terms of money or riches or wealth, just know for yourself, it's not that it's real or true, it's just your conditioning. And can it be changed? Absolutely, yes, it can. And should you? Yes, of course you should. And how do we do it? Exactly the way Dolly was saying. We have to visualize ourselves in the future more prosperous than we are today, and think big. There's nothing wrong with thinking big. It's probably some indoctrinated idea that we have. If we think to want a lot is bad. If you want a lot, you're not going to deprive anybody of anything. It's like saying, if I take a deep breath of air, is anyone going to go without a breath of air? No. If I want to have perfect health, am I going to deprive any other person of health? No. There's an abundance of everything. So prosperity and wealth for yourself is not depriving anyone, and there's nothing wrong with it either. It all comes down to our self-worth, our self-image, and whether we think we're worthy or deserving. Our self-image is related to how much we believe we should have. All right, so I'm going to talk about 7 attitudes that are really, really important. And the first one is believe that you can prosper. And this is really it. You know, you can be, do, and have anything. Why? Because your potential is unlimited. So if you believe you can be a prosperous person, you can. It really comes down to a person's belief. And if for some reason you don't believe you can be a prosperous person, then the requirement to change that is on you to create a new belief. Because all it is a belief. It's not a fact, and it's not your truth. It may be a fact in your life today. If you don't have money, you could say, well, that's a fact. Look at my bank account. And I'll say, yes, I agree with you. That's a fact. But it's not your truth. When I mean not your truth, it means it's not to say that this is you and that's it and it can never change. It can change if you change. And what do you need to change? You need to change your belief about yourself and what you deserve and what you're worth, and be able to see yourself having more than you have today. I've just taken 3 completely different sources, and they say exactly the same thing. Earl Nightingale, one of the best personal development teachers on the planet. We become what we think about. Proverbs at the Bible, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or Buddha, what we think we become. So beliefs, why it says believe you can, beliefs are nothing more than thoughts. So they all say what you think about. Thoughts that you have repeatedly eventually create an attitude, and an attitude that's continuously held the same attitude over and over becomes just a firmer attitude, and that's called a belief. Now, some people think beliefs are facts, but they're really just beliefs. There aren't really many facts in this world. It's more of our perception of things. I love this quote by Henry Ford. It's believe you can or believe you can't. Either way, you'll be right. So if you believe you can't be more prosperous, that will be your experience, and you will justify it, and you will tell people, you see, it's true. People justify their beliefs. In fact, people will argue for their beliefs. They will even die for beliefs. If you think of war, people die for ribbons on the uniform of the soldier. They die for a belief. So how do we create a new belief? Well, Dolly was onto it earlier when she said this. Visualize and act as if you are happy and wealthy with wonderful relationships. And that's important that we put all those words in there, because happy you do need to be. You do need to be happy to help attract things into your life, and wealthy and happy should be combined. There's no point in thinking that there's something wrong with wealth, because then there's guilt attached to that, and that's unnecessary, as I said. And also with wonderful relationships, because when we prosper, we want everyone to prosper, and we want to have good relationships with everyone. We want to love unconditionally. That's really a path of personal growth. And then whatever we have, if we are more prosperous, we want others to benefit from that as well. So, for example, in the Silva method, the personal development program that I train, we always say, may the best for all involved occur. So we never want to win-lose. We never want to win at anyone else's expense. We want everyone to benefit when we benefit. And the next one is create positive affirmations that state that you are successful and prosperous. Repeat the affirmations many times a day. Now, affirmations are much more work to change a belief than what visualizing is. If you have to create an affirmation, I'm wealthy and prosperous, or something like this. This is one of mine. I learned this from Bob Proctor. It says, money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. I'll say that again. Money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. That's a good affirmation to have. Or money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Now, in the book Think and Grow Rich, I just mentioned this because we, as I said, are doing mastermind on it, and it's top of my mind at the moment. There is a statement that the author requires the reader to read out loud twice a day. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill basically says, if you don't do this, then don't expect it to be a book that will work for you. It won't work for you. It will be pointless. So you see the importance of having an affirmation and repeating it. So this thing here, if you can have any affirmation for yourself, whatever it may be, but if it's about prosperity and money, you do need to repeat it many times a day, and definitely in the morning and in the evening. Because if we don't keep impressing positive ideas into our mind, we can't change the mind we have, and all the results you have in your life today up to this point are a result of your current mindset. So unless we change the mindset, you will not get any more than the current results you're getting. So that's why prosperity is definitely dependent on changing our mindset and creating what I call a prosperity mindset. Affirmations do count, but the most powerful thing to do is to visualize seeing yourself, as Dolly said, in the future with bigger dreams, having better things, having it all. And then when you're visualizing, the most important thing is to keep doing it like a movie in your mind until you feel emotion. Emotion is the creative force. It's not just the visualizing, it's the emotion, because your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. So the minute you become emotional and happy about seeing yourself more prosperous, you make new neurological pathways in your brain. You make impressions on your brain neurons or impressions on the subconscious mind, and that is going to drive your behavior. It's the impressions you make on your subconscious. Okay, the next one is attitude 2. Develop wisdom and understanding. This is really, really important. Developing wisdom means to keep learning, to keep studying, to improve your ideas, to improve your beliefs, your mindset, your values. So it says no one has ever arrived. In other words, no one's ever quite done. I'm complete, I've arrived, now can just sit and cruise. No one's like that. No one's arrived. So maintain the attitude of a student and have a teachable spirit. having a teachable spirit, John Maxwell talks about this in several of his books. And he says people who don't have a teachable spirit are arrogant. And arrogant people can't learn anything because they think they know it all. So if we think we know it all and we don't want to learn, or we just don't learn, then our mind can't change. And our mind is the thing that is creating our prosperity in the first place. So that's the one, is develop wisdom. Keep studying, keep learning. The second one is remove yourself from associating with ignorant, negative people who are satisfied with where they are in life and aren't interested in growing or finding purpose in life. This may sound harsh. And if it does, well, I'm not going to apologize, because the people you associate with are really, really important, because they affect your reality. They affect you and your mindset, whether you think so or not, or aware of it or not. They absolutely do. So if you're hanging around with people who are thriving, growing, learning new things, talking about new concepts and wonderful ideas, how stimulating those people are. When you leave them, you feel uplifted. If they're positive, you feel positive. They make you feel better. That's the way to really improve your own life. They say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. So definitely people who don't want to learn and grow are going to hold you back, because they don't want really to see anyone else around them learning and growing. People want people to be the same as them. It's just the way it is. Also, put yourself in the company of people who have a hunger and a passion for wisdom, knowledge, and success. Why? Because it'll rub off on you. And regular study and surrounding yourself with successful people, that's so important. That'll put you squarely on the road to prosperity. There's several people here on this mastermind tonight. I won't call them out, but you know who you are. You've either done a mastermind with me, or you're busy doing one right now. And you know, when you get into a group and you study together over several weeks, it really does influence you, and you do change, because week in and week out, you're back in the group, you're all there for a purpose. And the purpose is what? To improve yourself, to improve your own life. And if you hang around like that, even if it's just a mastermind group, it makes a big difference in your life. It has an impact on your mindset, what you're thinking, the influence that you all have on each other, and it's all positive. So it doesn't have to be with me, it can be with anyone. But think about studying ongoing. Some people, they say, I don't know what the percentage was, it was really, really high. How many people stop studying after they leave school? We've got amazing brains and amazing capacity to create anything with our mind. We should definitely be using it and expanding our mind to be ahead of us. Like, we want to be proactive and grow, so that our lives are growing into that growth of our mind. Because if it's not that way, then we're going to grow by default, which I call a cosmic slap, where you're not growing proactively. You get stuck in a comfort zone and you slowly start to kind of go backwards, and then life starts knocking you around, because growth is inevitable. So either we grow proactively or we grow by default, and that's a bit rough, where it ends up that hard circumstances end up being the things that that force us to learn. Just to talk about the Silva method, it's a 4-day dynamic meditation program. If you think about what we do in the Silva method, the 3 steps across the whole program of 4 days is desire, belief, and expectancy. So when we want a new goal or to be more prosperous, the first thing we need is desire, which is interesting. It's also a chapter in Think and Grow Rich on its own. It's chapter 1, in fact, desire. You've got to have a strong and burning desire. Then you've got to create a belief. This is what the Silva method does. And for those of you who haven't done it, I'll tell you what you can do yourself to create a new belief. It's just closing your eyes, first relaxing like you're meditating. So relax. You definitely need to be relaxed. The conscious mind needs to be very, very calm and almost quiet. And then you use visualization with emotion, as we said, and do that repeatedly, ongoing, and you'll create a new belief. Once you've done that ongoing enough, you automatically have what we call expectancy. It's like you expect this thing to happen. It's almost like the natural next step. And when you add those together, desire plus belief plus expectancy, that's faith. And faith is knowing that you're going to do this thing that you want to do. You're going to achieve this goal, whatever it may be. So the bottom line is, an attitude to have to become prosperous is to believe you can become prosperous And if you don't, create the belief. How? We've just explained. So once you do that, you then start having faith that you will become more prosperous. And that's the only way it can ever happen. Here's Wayne Dyer. He says, successful people make money. It's not that people who make money become successful, but that successful people attract money. They attract money. Successful people attract money. They bring success to whatever they do. So rather think about yourself being successful by personal development and improving yourself and improving your mind and working towards a goal, and you will find automatically that you'll attract more money into your life. If we're focusing on just getting more money without doing any change in ourselves or in our mind, it's just basically the wrong way around, and you'll be too fixated on the awareness that you don't have the money or it isn't changing, and that's just going to cause resistance and basically keep it away from you, because then your awareness the whole time is, I don't have it yet, I don't have it yet. And the law of attraction says you're going to get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So if you're aware you don't have it, you're going to create not having it. But this that Wayne Dyer is saying is, become successful. Successful people attract money. And what does that mean, successful people? It means knowing your purpose, growing to your maximum potential, adding value to others. That's really my idea of success. Okay, number 3 is set worthy goals. This is what Dolly said earlier about dreaming big. Prosperous people set big goals. They consistently take steps to get there. So, as we said earlier, Anna was saying take a step. It just has to be one step, but you keep moving. I love this saying. It goes like this. Do what you can with what you've got from where you are. So yes, you might not be able to take all the steps today, but you can take one. You sure can take one. Then I heard Bob Proctor say this once, and in fact, I also heard this said at the John Maxwell team by one of the speakers on stage. You are trading your life for it. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, whatever work you're doing, think about it this way. You're trading your life for it. So when I heard this and thought about where I was working last, before I left corporate, which is more than 5 years ago now, it absolutely knocked me like a ton of bricks that someone is saying you're trading your life for your work. And then make sure that it's worthy of you. Make sure that whatever you're doing is worthy of you and worthy of your time. So if you think about it that way, you're trading your life for your goals. Make sure they're worthy goals, because the time and effort you're going to put in to creating a little bit is exactly the same as time and effort you put into creating a lot. Believe me, if you're going to be visualizing for $1, it's still visualizing. Whether you're visualizing for $1 or $100,000 or $1 million, you're going to spend the same time. So little goals and big goals, kind of the effort you're going to put in every day is the effort you're going to put in every day. Make sure you have big goals. You know, they say shoot for the moon, because if you miss, at least you land amongst the stars. People, I love this. It's Michelangelo said, most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. No, most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. So big goals, get that into your mind, dream bigger. Whatever goal you have for yourself right now, I want you to actually take that goal right now and make a firm decision to make it much, much bigger. It must be bigger. It must be something outside of your comfort zone. So it says here, don't have goals that you know you can achieve, because it'll be so similar to where you are today. Stretch goals help develop more of your potential. You want to have a big goal because you want it to be so big, you have to develop more of your potential to achieve it. And I always say the big thing about achieving a goal is not so much that you get the goal. That's like the bonus. The real reason that you have goals is who you become. That you're a person who can create that. It's who you become. You develop more of your potential. You have more personal growth. You become a person of a different mind, more persistence, more character. That's why we have goals. Who is the person you're becoming? It's about the person you're becoming. And yes, achieving the goal is great, but that's like the prize. Earl Nightingale said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. A worthy ideal, in my book, it's something that not only benefits you, but benefits others too. That's what life purpose is. Life purpose is never about ourselves. It's about others. That's significance, adding value to others. Whatever you're achieving, it's got to be something that you think is making a difference in this world. It's either solving a problem, avoiding problems from happening, helping people succeed, just making life better for others in some way. So that's a worthy ideal. I love this quote. It says, don't let low standards and expectations of the world and others cause you to aim beneath your nobility and ability. Dream big. So very often, people tell their big dreams to someone close to them and they shoot their dreams down. Many books say if you've got a really, really big dream, keep it inside your own heart. Tell people maybe your next step or where you want to go, and share that with them. But the big dream that you have, don't tell people who are naysayers. Sometimes the people we least expect to be naysayers are naysayers. So, keep your dream in your heart and believe in yourself and absolutely go for it. Then it says, set a goal to achieve something that is so big, so exhilarating, it excites you and scares you at the same time. Bob Proctor always says that your goal must excite you and scare you. It must excite you because it's something that you love to do. It makes use of your talents and gifts. So we're excited about things we can do where we use our talents, that things that we're good at, that excites us. And yes, it must scare you because you think, whoa, how on earth am I ever going to achieve that? That's what you want. Because if it's so big, it scares you, it's the right thing. It means it's going to grow you. If anyone knows Caroline Myss, she's one of the world's thought leaders, by the way, on intuition. She's just a phenomenal author and teacher on the planet. I do really admire her. And she says, like it's intuition, always go with the choice that scares you the most, because that's the one that is going to help you grow. And, it's very true. If we take the thing that doesn't scare us, we're so in our comfort zone. We're not going to grow. We're not going to change. We're not going to make mistakes. And mistakes is really a learning in the end of the day. It's not there to kill you. It's there to help teach you something. The next attitude, number 4, make your work count. Whatever work you're doing at the moment, whatever it is, make it really count. Prosperous people not only know where they're going, but they also approach their work with intensity, focus, and a sense of purpose. Know why. Why do you do what you do? If you don't know why and you're working for someone, ask them, what is the purpose of my role in the bigger picture? Know why you show up every day and what you do. If, of course, you know that, that's fantastic. As a result, they get a lot done in a short period. Systematic thought instead of random action. So making your work count means coming to work, being intentional. The best way to say it is, John Maxwell always says, plan and reflect daily. Plan what you want to do in your day and always do it with what's the most important thing for you to achieve today. Even if you do the first 20%, because the 80-20 principle always applies. 20% of your efforts give you 80% of your results. So plan and then reflect at the end of the day. How did I go according to my plan? Did I do well? Didn't I do well? Where can I change? Could I procrastinate less? Could I prioritize more? Whatever it is that you're reflecting on, if you really did that and applied it, you would improve significantly in just 6 months. You would improve enormously over the period of a year by planning and really reflecting to improve daily. And as John Maxwell says, the secret to your success lies in your daily agenda. People think success is all about this big thing you're going to get to one day. No, it's the little steps you're taking with focus, intensity, and purpose every day. Small steps, they compound over time. And suddenly one day you realize, wow, look how far I've come. This is also from John Maxwell, the 7 steps to success. 1, make a commitment to grow daily. Personal growth is so important. It's the only real guarantee we have that we're going to have a better future. That's the truth, or be more prosperous. Number 2, value the process more than events. So value the process of going through time, getting better and better and better, bit by bit. Not just, oh, one big thing today, I'm going to improve just because of this one event. No, it's through the process. Also, don't wait for inspiration to act. Because if you wait for inspiration to act, then it's more like a hobby. If we act and do what we have to do with discipline every day, then we act first and the inspiration will come. That's self-discipline, and that's what successful people do. Also, be willing to sacrifice pleasure for opportunity. That's absolutely true. I was thinking about myself when I first joined the John Maxwell team. I just remember all the calls I was getting on, that these teaching calls and reading. I never had much free time to myself. Not that I ever used to watch much TV. I've never been a TV person ever, but I'd watch movies from time to time if I wanted to. I never did any of that for months and months and months. And that's what it is there. Be willing to sacrifice pleasure. But you know what? For me, it wasn't a sacrifice. It was a choice, because the opportunities it was giving me for a better life, a better future, better awareness was absolutely worth it. There again, here's John Maxwell saying, dream big. Don't dream small, dream big. And plan your priorities. That's like planning and reflecting. And your priorities. How do you determine your priorities? What do you do to say, well, that's a priority and that isn't? It's a really good question. Priorities are things that need to be very rewarding. They need to be something that no one else can do, otherwise delegate it. So it's something that is required from you and you only. And it has to give you a step towards your goal. It's got to have some return on that investment of time. So whatever you're prioritizing, it's got to have a return. And then lastly, number 7, give up to go up. And that's just, again, what John Maxwell terms the law of sacrifice. We do have to give up something of a lower value for something of a higher value. So whether that's giving up TV time for study time, or giving up money to invest in a course for yourself, or giving up, maybe you want to save for something to invest and become more prosperous. You've got to give up some of your disposable income or the pleasure of spending the money now because you're saving it towards a deposit for something in the future, whatever you want to do. There is always a swap or a sacrifice involved for people who want to advance. If we just really live from hand to mouth and I'm not talking about just money, but in any way, shape or form, never actually invest, whether it's time that we're investing or money we're investing to improve ourselves, there's very small chance you'll actually change your current situation. Okay, then attitude number 5. Be true to yourself. Well, this for me was a really standout one amongst the 7 attitudes of prosperous people. Being true to yourself, there's a couple of things here. The first one is, it means making the best use of what you have, meaning making the best use of your mind, of your abilities, your unique talents in the time that you're given on this earth. Think about that. You've got enormous potential. A lot of you listening here, I have to give it to you. You are people who absolutely continuously invest in personal growth. I take my hat off to you because you're continuously developing your mind. You want to improve your abilities and your talents. And really, you are and you will continuously make progress in your life. Your life will get better and better. So being true to yourself is, you've got some gifts and talents. Develop them. Become a master at your craft. Keep improving. What we spoke about earlier, about practice, 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 it's that. The other thing about being true to yourself is stand up for yourself and for what you believe. Never compromise your values, ever. There's no circumstance that can justify compromising your own values. Whatever you value, you need to really live in alignment with your values. So when you don't think things are right that's being done to you or even to someone else, like someone bullying someone, stand up and say something. Don't keep it inside. Don't compromise yourself. Don't live with regret. Be true to yourself. Take the chance. Take the risk. It takes courage to be true to yourself. But really, it's what's required if we want to make progress and really become who we are with a better character and developing at your maximum potential. Now, I've put this long quote here. It's actually a poem, I should say, by, it's called The Invitation by Araya Mountain Dreamer. And I'm just going to read it because if you think about being true to yourself, it is a bit long, but it's one of the most beautiful and valuable words I personally have ever come across. That I printed this thing and I stuck it on my mirror for years and years and years. Even when I was back in South Africa, I've now got a copy in my office, inside the kitchen of the office. If you struggle to believe in yourself, maybe print this out for yourself and read it every single day. It says here, it doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for. And if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. It doesn't interest me if the story you're telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. I'll read that again. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. For me, those are the most important lines of this whole thing. If you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after a night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me to know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you can stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. This is one of my favorite poems of all time. It is so deep, it is so beautiful, and it is so confrontational at the same time. But I remember years ago, many years ago, I'm talking about 15 or more years ago, when I read that line that says, where is it now? If you can disappoint another to be true to yourself and bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. It really stood out for me. And, you know, I say that when it comes to prosperity, because sometimes we're living someone else's dream. Sometimes we're trying to please someone else, whoever it may be. I know so many young people who don't like what they're doing, but they studied what they studied to please their parents. So that's an example of not being true to yourself. Or being in a job that you really don't like for some reason, I'm not too sure what it is. Be true to yourself. Have the courage to honor your own heart, your own values, and do what's right for you, even if you disappoint other people. It's the most important thing, to live in alignment with your own values. I can't stress it enough, because otherwise we live with a sense of resentment deep down inside. Okay, number 6, be generous. Prosperous people have a habit of being generous, which creates a cycle of generosity and happiness for them and others. Yes, they're givers. Make it a practice to leave every person you speak to with the impression of increase. I love those words. With the impression of increase. In other words, you make them feel good about being around you. because whatever you put out is coming back. So always uplift other people, encourage other people, love them unconditionally, you know, be the positive influence in their lives. Also about being generous. It says the law of compensation is the law of sowing and reaping. It says you will always be compensated for your efforts and for your contribution, whatever it is, how much or how little. So the law of compensation, we get what we give. That's why being generous is what I call the first law of receiving. The first law of receiving is to give. That quote there, it says, the law of giving and receiving is simply this. In a universe where the most absolute truth is that of oneness, you cannot ever take without taking from yourself, and you cannot ever give without giving to yourself. That is why those who give get back, and those who take are taken from. So the first law of giving, of receiving really is to give. Because if you think about sowing and reaping, if you're giving, you started the cycle, that circulation to receive. Then it says here, giving is only one half of the law of increase. Receiving is the other half. We can give and give, but we may unbalance the law unless we also expect to receive. Now, I really put this in because this is really important. It's not just only about giving. We do need to give, and I've got something on the next slide even more deep about giving. But also when we don't receive, we're actually blocking money too. So even not receiving a compliment, or, you know, some people say, oh, you look so lovely. Oh, no, you know, or you did a really great job. No, it was nothing. Say, yes, thank you for noticing. The only thing to say to a compliment of any kind is, thank you for noticing. Receive it. Someone says you look lovely in that dress. Say, thank you for noticing. Not, oh, no, it's just an old dress. Receive the compliment. People want to give you a gift. Don't say, oh, no. People want to pay for you. Sometimes you go out for coffee or lunch, and the person wants to pay. Go, oh, no, I'll pay. Sometimes just say thank you and receive, because it's the other half of the law of giving and receiving. So it's really important that we practice receiving as well. Otherwise, we don't really help ourselves when it comes to money. Just want to talk about this. This is a quote out the Bible, just to talk about how much prosperity is actually promised in the Bible. And it says here, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. So a tithe is 1/10 of whatever you have, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord. Test me, he says, test me, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that you will not have enough room for it. If you think of it in those words, it's a promise. You know, to tithe is to give 1/10, and 1/10 is the necessary number because it takes a lot of discipline. That's all I can say. It's not easy. It's easy to give 5%, give 10%. It takes a lot of discipline. Just to add, no one has ever become poor by giving. And here's another quote from St. Francis of Assisi. For it is in giving that we receive. And lastly, this is from Rockefeller. I never would have been able to tithe the first $1 million I ever made if I had not tithed my first salary, which was $1.50 per week. Some people say they can't afford to give anything away. It's just to give it to whoever you think needs it more than you do. It can be a charity. It can be whatever it is. It can be somebody. It can be your place of faith. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you are giving from what you receive. And the way I learned from my mentor is we receive to do good in this world. That's why we receive. So do good, and you get to keep 90% of the money by doing good. Now, if that's what you do, you'll have a grateful heart and not a resentful heart. So giving needs to be done with a grateful heart. And, you know, John Maxwell did a talk the one day, and he said, he reminds himself that the money is not mine, I manage it. These gifts and talents I have are not mine. I make use of them to benefit the world. Everything is not mine. I do the best with it. So when money comes, so the money is not mine. It just flows to you and through you. Because if it, you know, when we die, we don't take it with us. So just to remind ourselves and to give. And I promise you, if you're struggling financially and you don't give, test this. As it says in the first quote, test it. Give 10% of what you have, and I promise you, money will show up in your life somehow, some way. It will circulate and come back to you. It really is a law. It's like the law of sowing and reaping. Okay, lastly is be grateful. Everyone knows that gratitude, as I said, it's not going to be something new, just a reminder to maybe apply it in your life, that expressing gratitude really just shifts your energy straight away, immediately, instantly. It also puts you in harmony with the source of all supply. So the good in everything starts to move towards you. When prosperous people have a challenge in life, like a money issue, a business problem, a relationship problem, instead of adding energy to the problem, they don't focus on the problem, no. They tend to talk about things they're grateful for, to immediately shift the energy. In your own life, if something's not working or not going right, just do your utmost to practice gratitude journaling every single day, even if it's for just 5 minutes. It will shift your energy and things will start to work out for you. They will slowly get better and better. The more we practice gratitude, the better our life becomes. This is an absolute truth and something that I can absolutely rely on in my own life. If I ever practice gratitude, things just do. They just get better and better. Also, it says prosperous people know that when you change the way you look at the problems will change. There's a saying, you may have heard it from Wayne Dyer, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. So when you look at problems, consider problems an opportunity to become creative. That's all it is, an opportunity to become creative. And then just be grateful for everything else you have in your life. Our total and consistent heart of thanks. That's why it says there below, if the only prayer you ever said was thank you, it would be enough. All right, be grateful is constant. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. And it is. If you think about everything you're grateful for, you're thinking about the best of everything. So therefore, it tends to become the best. And it takes the form or character of the best. And therefore, it must, by law, receive the best. So gratitude, wonderful, wonderful thing to shift our energy. So here's the summary of tonight. Follow these simple steps. They help us change our attitude towards prosperity and help us to receive more. Believe in yourself and believe that you can prosper. So change any negative beliefs about money and riches. Use visualization, use affirmations. Develop wisdom and understanding. Continuously engage in lifelong learning. Always surround yourself with positive people and successful people who are learning and improving themselves. Set worthy goals. Dream big. Make sure your goals are really big. They can stretch you and force you to grow into them and to develop more of your potential. Make your work count. Approach your work with intensity, focus, and a sense of purpose. And remember, whether you love your work at the moment or not, always, always do your best. If you want to change your work, great. Do that in the meantime if you want to change things. But whilst you're still there doing the thing you're doing, do your best. It will help you feel better about what you're doing. And it's the law of compensation again. Whatever you put out in the world comes back to you, the law of circulation. Be true to yourself. Always live in alignment with your own values. Never betray yourself or betray your soul. Be generous. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So give with a thankful heart, with a lot of gratitude, and it will connect you and keep you in awareness of being connected to your source of supply. And what a wonderful way to go through your day every day, being aware and connected to that infinite source. And then last but not least, be grateful for everything. Everything, and it'll keep your mind fixed upon the best. So just here's the last slide. Poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. So that comes from James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. If you think about poverty and riches being the offspring of thought, you can understand how important it is to continuously visualize, use affirmations, and study something positive to improve your life. Continuously develop your mind, because your mind is where all your thoughts are, and that's the origin of your success or your failure, the origin. And then it says here, you were born rich. What that means is you are born with infinite potential to create whatever it is you want to do, be, or have. If you can think it, you have got the potential to create it. You will never be given a dream or goal without the potential to fulfill it. You can, and that's what it means to say you were born rich. You are born rich with all the faculties of your mind to control your mind, to control your thinking, to use your imagination, to visualize on good things, not to worry. And your abundance is contained in your thoughts. Then it says, so be good to yourself by thinking good thoughts, building magnificent ideas, and never permitting your physical world to control your thinking, which controls your attitude. So the best advice I have is your current circumstances, if they're not that great, don't pay attention to them and spend your energy focusing on your current physical reality. Spend your energy closing your eyes, going into meditative state, and visualizing better and better things till you feel the joy and the good emotions. That will help you move forward. So I hope that's been helpful for everybody. And I hope you enjoyed that. Just some attitudes to be prosperous. As I said, you may know those, they may not be new, but applying them is really the difference between where we are and where we're going in life. Okay, just to tell you quickly what's coming up, then we'll do a quick meditation. Just the next events that are coming up, if anyone's interested. The next one is a mastermind on the 15 invaluable laws of growth. It starts on the 6th of October. There is an early bird price of $3.99. Otherwise, the investment is $4.99. And the VIP price, that's for people who have done or currently doing a mastermind with me right now. They always get a special price. So I find many of the masterminders go from mastermind to mastermind. And just to tell those who maybe are not or haven't done it before, it is really a great way just to stay in a positive group and continuously support and encourage each other to become better. And we're studying great material. This book of John Maxwell is absolutely fabulous in terms of growth. And it really is about having the awareness that in this book that growth is not just knowledge. We actually need to change ourselves and take different actions. And it's not easy. It's going to be difficult. But that's what's required. And if we do that, we are going to have better and better in our life. And so we should. There's another mastermind on As a Man Thinketh. That starts on the 21st of October. There's also an early bird price there, saving $100. The early bird ends 7th of September. So however we meet, can be in Zoom or in person, and you don't have to buy the book for this one. You get a study guide, and the book is contained in the study guide. And then for people who want to do the Silva method for the first time ever, the really good news is the Silva method next class is actually an online class. This was intentionally done specifically for people outside of Sydney, but of course, if you're in Sydney, you can join as well. I'd never say no. But it is online and an opportunity for people who can't travel or because of coronavirus, or maybe it's just expensive to travel. It saves you an enormous amount of money. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. You just need a quiet space where you cannot be disturbed. And what I'm also giving there is including a free pass to a live class, because once you've done the Silva method for the first time, you can review for free. The tuition is free, but you pay a small seat charge. I'm waiving the seat charge if you do the online to come to any live class free. And the reason for that is I definitely want, if you're new to Silva, to experience the energy of a group. It's fantastic, the live experience. And then there's another class that's live in my office in Concord in September, Thursday to Sunday, 10th to the 13th. And then Silva Kids, a 2-day, it's just for Silva Life System, customized for kids. If anybody has kids or knows kids between the ages of 8 and 12 years of age. Because, I mean, kids can come from the age 8 to an adult class, but this is just geared around their issues and their challenges to help them. And that's just for 2 days. Okay. If anyone's got any questions on anything at all, just unmute yourselves and just speak to me and say whatever you want to say. Otherwise, we're going to do a meditation now. So get yourself a pen and paper handy, because in this meditation, if you're new, I'm going to ask you some questions at the end once you're deeply relaxed, and they're for your benefit. Some questions just are really about, you know, what's your intention for the month ahead, because it's the beginning of the month now, and just some questions about what steps do you need to take to get you closer to where you want to get to. A question also about what do you need to let go of. That can be anything at all. So whatever comes up for you, just follow your first impressions. Okay. So get comfortable, sit with the paper and pen handy. You're just going to peek your one eye open towards the end, just scribble down the answers at the very, very end. But for now, your goal is nothing more than just relax. Enjoy the meditation. Take this time for yourself just to really just relax. Okay. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a nice deep belly breath. And as you exhale, allow the tensions in your body to release and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, begin to feel your body relaxing from the top of your head all the way down. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Relax your neck, your shoulders, arms, and hands. Relax your back from the top of your spine all the way down to the end of your spine. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your chest. Take a nice deep belly breath, and as you exhale, relax your abdomen. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. All the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. Now you're going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined. Somewhere you've been or somewhere you'd like to go. But allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place of relaxation right now. Now that you have created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall of white light is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. The light is a healing energy. A clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Go over to the waterfall and stand under this white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you and encompass you within its glow. Feel this waterfall of white light clearing all the stress, the tension, and the clutter away. It's clearing the stress, tension, and clutter of the day, the past week, the past month, the past year, of the lifetime from your energy field, from your atmosphere or your aura. As this light is clearing your energy, notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind, from now on, I will be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments. Allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve perfect health. You deserve abundance. You deserve prosperity. You deserve happiness. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered. You are energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Take a moment now to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month ahead. It is now time to set your intention for the month ahead. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. At the count of 1, you will have tuned into your inner wisdom, your intuition, or higher self, that part of you that, if you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to your inner wisdom, your intuition, your higher self, the part of you that guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. Sense this alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. Trust it. And now ask yourself the following question and write down your first impressions. Don't analyze or question anything, just write down your first impressions. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month of August? What do I need to focus on for the month of August? Next question: what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Write down your first impressions. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? And third question, what do I need to let go of? And now just a last question to ask. Is there anything else I need to do or know? Is there anything else? Now allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, just relax. Slowly bring your attention back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes, feel wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. Okay, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for your participation. Hello Yolanta, didn't see you come on. Hi Alejandra, thank you for joining. Jayanti, Pixel 4XL, not too sure who that is, but welcome. Darlene, Kalyani, and if anyone else I've missed, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope it was valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Janine.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
everyone.
Thank
You
you.
take care and lots of love. Everybody take care.
Thank you, Dolly.
Thank you,
Thank
Dolly.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.